So this week I have been recuperating, resting, restoring, repairing because I had sinus, my chest infection, and I was just exhausted. So I needed to calm down. So I came back to Argyll on Sunday afternoon, and I've just been really relaxing and getting on all my technology, because obviously I am very, very blessed to have the technology that can help. So I thought I would just come on and talk a little bit about it, because obviously it's the big thing about energy medicine is really being able to access it regularly. It's all one. The danger always is people want to be fixed, and we can't fix you. So I would wish we could, but we can't. But what we can do is we can help you to learn how to do it yourself. And with support, obviously, I keep banging on about community, having people around you. And the problem right now is, as the whole kind of medical model's changed, and hospitals are no longer a place that you go to get better. You get emergency treatment, and then you get out. And very often people are coming home. They're coming home alone, and they're lonely, and maybe they've had major surgery. And so there's a huge gap in the market in terms of support, and also understanding what the body is, what a human is, the electromagnetic side to the body, which is affected obviously by what we think, feel, see, do, believe, and perceive. So this week, much to my annoyance, now I knew I've been busy, right? So it was kind of obvious you're going to get tired. But I've suffered with Candida since way before I knew what it was. Fatigue, depression, bloating, foggy brain, and lack of motivation. And there's loads and loads of symptoms. And really what happened to me was they started putting mercury in my mouth when I was 5, 4 maybe even. And then, of course, my body rejected it. I got abscesses. I understand now the body was just like, what is this? And then, of course, I got antibiotics. And then, so the story goes on and on and on. Then, obviously, my gut biome got destroyed. Then I started getting sinus infections, more antibiotics. Obviously, back then, I had zero understanding of what was going on. I had 3 kids by the time I was 22, 3 under 3. So clearly that's a lot. My husband was a trawler fisherman, so he was away all the time. I didn't drive early on, so my mum was in, Gilped, she might have been in Timbuktu, because I couldn't, there was nobody there to really help me. Some of my friends in Tarbert could, but obviously most of the day I was left with 3 small children. So I'm not looking for sympathy here. I'm just explaining how your health picture can and will appear if you don't deal with what's going on. So I ended up actually getting an operation on my nose for my sinuses. And it was nothing to do with my nose, because once you understand it, I think a lot of people are understanding this now. Any recurrent infection is coming from the gut, and low-grade infections. So the first thing you would do with kidneys, urine, bladder, you go straight to the gut. And there's lots of things. I'm not going to talk about the oral protocols I'm doing, because I'm going to take that into the community next week. So you can come in there and I'll go through exactly what it is I do when this happens to me. So anyway, I come back and I'm put myself on my machine. I don't know if you can see that. This is called the Genius Insight. And it tells me quite clearly fungus, right? I knew, but I was ignoring it. Fungus and parasites. And what this does is it works on my voice print, and it gives you numbers. And the numbers, when they go into the red, it's like it's the red light's a warning. So parasites and fungus. Now I've just been doing turpentine, which could be bringing the parasites out. But fungus is an issue. A big issue for all of us. So many of us have got it and don't know. And what happens if it gets fed by stress, it gets fed by sugars, it gets fed by bread, it gets fed by a lot of processed carbohydrates, it gets fed by white potatoes very often as well, coffee. So and I love tatties in all shapes and forms, and I love coffee. I usually only have one a day, but yeah, that's had to come out. So I've done the test. I'm like that, right? I should have known that's what the issue was. The Candida balance has swung out again. So what do you do about that? Well, first of all, it has to be an elimination diet. You need to stop feeding it. And what I can also do in here is look at the heavy metals. I'll try and get this. Looks like it's kind of frozen. Anyway, take my word for it. I can look for heavy metals. I can look for limes, which is another issue. And again, a lot of us are carrying all this. And the body can handle most of that, to be honest. But what happens is when just one, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, and suddenly the immune system's like, I can't deal with this. And that's why, obviously, I've got this fatigue. I've had the chest infection, the sinus infection, which is not really that big a concern. Luckily, I timed it quite well in between events. And I've got, I can just allow the body to upgrade, learn, but I'm also supporting it through this. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about. So what was crazy, as you know, my biggest thing is right now is 528 and coherence. To me, there's nothing else to touch it. So this is my HRV. So this goes in my right wrist and this goes in my left. And a lot of you'll have HRV in your watches. And so yesterday I got up and I just went on it to see where I was at. And then I thought, I'll do a meditation and then I'll see if that's helping. And then something really bizarre happened. I thought, my machine wasn't working properly. And I thought, I'll try it one more time. And I thought, while I'm doing it, I'll tune in. Nothing could have blown me further away than this. So if you can see, this was me on, not yesterday, the day before. What was that? Wednesday at 2:30 in the afternoon. So I'm not really looking that energetic. I wasn't feeling that energetic. Very tired, etc. Still got the cough in the chest and sinuses blocked up. And then, this was me yesterday morning when I was blowing the love tuna. I was like, what? My entire body went in to coherence. Now, I know that the love tuner does that, right? Because I've had it for months now and I've been blowing it and practicing. But that was a really, really incredible visual. Because obviously when I'm in this state, the thing that I'm banging on about always is this field, this toroidal field. Okay, so when this energy is flowing around us, through the heart, round and down, this is what keeps us in balance, in harmony, right? But if you are half dead, feeling a bit negative, you're not feeling great, emotionally, physically, spiritually, doesn't really matter. The flow of this energy can't get through the body, right? Does that make sense? So when this is the gate, the heart gate here, the 528, the resonance of the heart. So when you're in 528, that field flows uninhibited. So look what happened to me. This was me completely 100%, 99% coherence. And so therefore, this energy can flow through me and all around me. That's Joe Dispenza's talk. So this is the thing that's interesting me more than ever. Let's go to my gut, the fungus. So obviously the fungus can spread and get in everywhere. This is the large intestine round here. And there's loads of little critters live in there and on there. And the small intestine, this, I mean, they say that this is, if you unwind this, it's the size of a football field. So there's a lot of, what will we call it, tubes to go through, for the food to go through before it gets out here, right? And when you start to get this dysbiosis in the gut, the fungus, very often it can be caused primarily by heavy metals, but I'm not entirely sure that's the only cause, to be honest. But what can happen is the temperature, or it can be a low-grade infection. And what that does is it just changes the pH and the temperature in there. And then you imagine it's like a pond in summer. There's no rain, there's no water flushing through it. The stream's dried up uphill. And what happens to that pond? The water starts to change temperature. And things can start to grow in here that were never really designed or meant to grow in here. But the other really incredibly important thing to know is that this can start to leak. Perforated, leaky gut, we call it. It might happen higher up, but let's just talk about this for the sake of understanding. And we're talking at microscopic levels, right? Because obviously, we can't see or even feel this most of the time. But when the gut starts to leak, things can get into the bloodstream that were never meant to get there, and that's when you start to get allergies. Because the body's like, what's going on here? The body's trying, always trying to return to balance. So if there's fungus in here and parasites, because the temperature in here is perfect for new critters to thrive, and then the fungus can grow in that damp, warmer environment. And that's kind of what's happened to me. And then, of course, when that happens and the gut's leaky, what is my weak point is my sinuses. Your weak point could be your bladder. Urine infections are really common with this as well. Chest. I have to say, I've not had a chest infection for years. And I believe personally that was because of the food poisoning I got last year. I've never managed to get my microbiome just fully banging again. But that's another topic and another subject we'll be taking into the community. So the other thing that I've been doing is looking at what organs are under stress. So my eyes have been quite watery, and that immediately will tell me liver, what's going on in the liver. I need to do a liver flush. I know that, okay? So that's clear. But obviously there's also the emotional side to all of this. And, it's really important, anything to do with the stomach, the pancreas, anxiety and trust. Who's not wondering who they can trust these days? A bit of anxiety, selling tickets for events, hoping that people enjoy it, hoping the presenters enjoy it. It's low level. I'm not like making myself sick over it, but there is an element of responsibility there. The kidneys are showing up fear. What's that about? Is there fear affecting my kidneys? I've had a few things to worry about over the last year or so. And then this is just, again, to give you an overview of all the things that can be causing this issue. The liver, eyes, gallbladder, anger, generosity. I've had a wee bit of anger, definitely. And the liver, this is one of the kidneys, the gallbladder and the liver. This is how everything gets out the body. So if they're struggling because of emotional stuff, the other thing that happens is that let's go back here. When it's stressed, whether that stress is anger, fear, anxiety, rage, betrayal, all of these feelings impact the field. And the other thing that happens, obviously, when you look here, is if I am excreting a lot of cortisol and adrenaline into my bloodstream, I'm changing the pH of the entire body. So the stress, arguably, is one of the main things that could be causing the dysbiosis in here. okay? And yeah, there's low-grade infections there that could be coming from who knows anywhere. I'm just making a lot of guesses here. So when I look at my organs here, because I can go in, it can tell me today's stress, kidneys, fungus, acidity, right? So that's pathogens, the same stuff, emotional, inflammation, all the same thing. So it doesn't really matter. What I can do with this system now is I can deliver, let me let you hear it. So I can deliver healing via sound to my body, which is what I've been doing. I can set this to detox parasites. I can set it to flood my body with Bach flower remedies, with vitamins, with minerals. I can set it to detox. I can get into my sauna. I can sweat. I obviously have to look at my diet because the fungus has got to be starved. And the other thing that I've been doing is the AMP coil. Now, this is the copper coil. This is PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. And what it does, let me see if I can show you, if you can see it on this. I really need to learn how to plug these in. But, so you can see here, let me get that off. What we have in here is journeys. Oops, that way. Journeys. So again, I can go into a pretty brutal detox if I wanted to, but I don't want to because I was feeling bad enough. I didn't want to make myself feel worse. What I wanted to do, nutrition, give the organs a wee bit of support. And I can just do things like, I've been sleeping fine actually. Headache, I had a splitting headache for about 2 weeks. So I can have a headache help, higher self, immune boost. So all these things are very gentle, but they all go to helping my body feel so much better. And then, of course, so between that and realising, and I mean, I'm feeling much, much better. It's not like it was very serious. I think you have to understand that the getting sick is not the problem with us humans. It's not getting better again that's the problem. And when we're up at the Health Hub, there's incredible equipment up there that can assist and support your recovery and, yes, speed it up. But what we really need to understand about energy medicine is you can expose yourself to it and it will help. But there's a lot going on inside for us and it's all about our self-talk and our beliefs and our cynicism and our gossiping or not, our blaming, shaming and complaining. Because see in here, as soon as I start, every single organ that's in there has been affected. Now, whatever I'm feeling, I'm drawing that energy in. The lungs, grief and courage. And there's been a lot of grief because there's been a lot of death over the last 5 years. So, you know, I met a young girl who lost 5 of her family in the last year. I mean, that's brutal. This affects your lungs and your ability to breathe. And how can you feel courageous when you're in grief? So it's really, really important to know how you're feeling and how that's affecting your organs. Love and impatience. Well, I've been impatient my entire life. I'm really starting to understand that that's a total waste of time. But if I'm very impatient and I put that stress in my heart, that affects all of that. So this beautiful, beautiful heart, if I can just open it so that my energy field looks like this, look at that. Unbelievable flow. Because with the energy medicine, that's all we're looking at. We can tell from the colour whether it's a muddy, if it's not a clean, clear colour, if it's a muddy colour, if it's a darker colour, the lower the vibration. So when you look into your energy centres, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, the lower, the darker the colour, the muddier the colour, there's an energy blockage, right? And that energy blockage can be in any of these organs. And that can be getting caused on the physical level, the mental level, or the emotional level. And that's why you can't miss it out. You've got to look at it as a whole. But so when, like me, going, right, okay, what's going on in here? The fungus. So I'm using some protocols to get this back into balance because I don't like being tired, right? I suffered from chronic fatigue for years. I had no idea what it was. And low motivation, because it's when you're very, very tired like that, it's very difficult to be motivated to do things. You have to drag your ass through life and it's no fun. So I'm going to do a webinar next week in the community on the protocols, the actual physical protocols that I use to deal with fungus and to deal with parasites. What's that? But here, number one, get on your love tuner. That was me blowing the love tuner. Now I'm doing a webinar in the community. No, it's not in the community. That's a lie. I'm doing a webinar for everybody that bought the love tuners and was patient and kind with me when I got all that hold up. And I'm going to show you exactly, because this allows me to show you how to breathe to get into this state. Now, obviously, I'm a very experienced advanced breath worker. I do it all the time. Every week, I'm teaching people, I'm showing people what to do. I'm doing it on myself. And I think that became very clear because I put my brother and my daughter on it yesterday, and they didn't have that much of a difference. They had a difference, but it showed me that how you're breathing with the love tuner, because what we're doing is we're wanting to open up the heart and let this baby flow. But with the love tuner, there's resistance. So when you're blowing out, there's a bit of resistance in there. So, for example, if I was just to go, it's easy. Got a wee bit of resistance on. And then you've got the sound, the 528 sound going through the whole body, into the eardrums, into your acoustic speakers in there. And that frequency is going all through the body and it's creating coherence. Look, it's proved it. And I did it again this morning because I'd done a meditation. I thought, wonder if it's because I'd meditated before, but it's not. I got exactly the same result today. So here's me, chest infection, sinus infection. What am I doing? I'm on the amp coil. I'm feeding the body through energy frequencies, nutrition, immune system, supporting my organs, my kidneys especially. And then I'm sealing the gut. I'm not going into the protocols that I'm using here because you just get taken down. So there's no point. In the community, it's private and we can say what we want and nobody can interfere with it. And then I'm looking obviously at my organs. What emotions do I need to look at? And I can treat the emotions with the energy frequencies as well. And I can treat it with this. Honest to God, I am blown away by what I saw. I was like, what? I phoned my pal Lauren. I was like, I need to send you this photo. Look, what the hell has just happened? It's absolutely unbelievable. I've honestly never seen anything like it. Now, I've put people in the ice and they've come out like that. But not everybody wants to go in the ice, but you can go in the ice and you might not look like that. Some people will energize, some people will deplete. And this is the thing that makes it a challenge. It's only you really know exactly what it is that your body needs. But because we're going to have this, obviously, up at the healing center, and we're going to be able to make sure that you're breathing properly, that you're getting into coherence, that your heart rate variability is balanced and open. Because for me, I don't look at it in the physical level anymore. I just don't, because it's just so boring and it's just so laborious. Energy medicine works at the speed of light, maybe even faster than the speed of light. The fascia, what the fascia can do is blow your mind, and it's thought to be our connection to these higher dimensions. So when we can actually tune in, and I'm not saying this is the only thing that you can do, because it isn't. Wild medicine breath work, I've not measured before and after that, but I'm obviously this is going to be coming with me so that we can really show you that what you're doing is working. Because this is the thing, when you get a load of protocols and you're tired and you don't know what to do, and you're like, is it enough? And obviously, because I work with people that are potentially very ill, they need to feel secure and what they're doing is working. And now we can see it. I've not yet put myself in the biofield viewer. I'm going to do that. Again, it's the lighting has to be perfect for that, to see what happens when I tune in with this. And obviously what we're doing is the body, practice, because you can hang that around your neck, and if you never tune in with it, you're not going to get a result. It's like everything else, you have to create new habits. And creating these new habits, whether it's breath work, whether it's in the forest, because that's the other thing we're realising now. It's not about exercise. Just get outside, go and sit in a forest, especially if you're not feeling well and you're not up to exercise. It might actually be detrimental for you to exercise, because that energy is needed by the body to work on the healing. Whereas if you can just go and sit in the forest and absorb the smells and the 528 and the far infrared, it's free, right? Everything that we're doing, think about supplements. People are having to supplement because we've destroyed all the nutrients in the soil. So now we're having to buy supplements to supplement what should be in the soil, the quality of the food. I mean, we're just off our rockers. What are the trees giving us? Oxygen. And now we're having to go into oxygen chambers because we're cutting down all the trees and we're inside all the time. Far infrared, the doctor in the sky, the light that they terrified us about. And it's like all these machines are mimicking nature. And so all we have to do is actually go outside. Don't get me wrong, this technology can absolutely assist and get you back on your feet. And we're looking at ways that we can bring the technology into your home if you're not well enough. All that you need is desire. Are you absolutely sick, fed up, being sick and fed up? Is there something that can be done? Let's find out. We have to try. Drugs and surgery are not the answer for most autoimmune issues, which is what everybody's suffering from. We, the people, are disconnected from our source, nature. And all that we're doing is bringing that source energy back into you. And the worst that can happen is nothing. You're not going to get sick further down the line with the treatments. No. You're going to, very, very unlikely, you're not going to get a result. My pal Siobhan, you might have seen her. She got injured. She does a lot of that high rocks and a lot of running. She went up, got on all the equipment, and she's back competing again this week. So for performance, for healing, for prevention, there is nobody that cannot benefit from energy medicine. It is a very, very exciting time. But you have to get involved, and this is a 180-degree shift on who is responsible for your health, because it's not me and it's not a doctor, it's you. And understanding and learning the magnificence that you are, the intelligence within you, the cells that are hanging on your every word, when you start to shift from blame, shame, complain, because you can change your diet all you want. If you're excreting the stress hormones into your body all day, every day, if you're bad-mouthing people, being nasty, gossipy, that's what poisons you. It's nuts. And we're not even paying attention to that side. As Carolyn May says, there's nothing worse than a vengeful vegetarian. If you're vengeful, you poison your own terrain. So it's so, so important for us to know this. And that's why it was a brilliant talk last night on faith, God, Jesus, feeling that you're connected, that you belong, whatever your faith is, that somebody's looking after you, that you can be in communication with a higher power that has no agenda, that you are protected and loved and divine and eternal, and you can stop worrying about death, and you can stop worrying about time, and you can just start enjoying your life. So it's pretty exciting. So if anybody's got any questions before I go, pop them in the box. But until then, this is where we're going with healing. The flow, the toroidal field, the divine flowing through us and all around us. And Joe Dispenza, he's the master of this work, getting the heart and the brain into coherence, allowing this energy to flow through you and all around you. And then, wow, lo and behold, you heal. It's just phenomenally exciting times for healing. I'm going to be doing a webinar for everybody that bought the Love Tuner on Wednesday, and I'm going to be doing a webinar on Candida, fungus, and heavy metals and chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, all these things. You want to look at your gut, what's going on in there. Is there things that you can do that can easily change the terrain? And can you let go of blaming, shaming, and complaining and stay in these higher frequencies? And that's where this thing comes into its own. You just blow in it when you're pissed off and invite love, because in you just this epicenter of the energy field here, you just welcome the new energies in, the frequencies. Know that your fascia is a crystalline plasma that's sending out information and receiving information. And there's two things that the fascia loves: being observed and being heard. That's mindfulness. That's quiet. That's meditation. Can you just be in that body without tormenting and squashing your wee cells? Just allowing that energy to flow, opening that yellow-green gate and allowing the energy to flow through you so that healing and harmony appears. All we have to do is get out the way. Okay, guys, hope that was helpful for you. And yeah, I'm doing one-to-one sessions. Quest 9. I've been on the Quest 9 every day. It's been telling me exactly what I already know. But the good thing about the Quest 9 is it tests and it treats. If you want a discovery session, it's 2 hours. Well, it's an hour and a half, but I'll allow 2 hours for all the information I need to get and set up. It's £120 for a discovery session. To get your gut health checked with a voice print, it's £60. I will check it for you, and then I will give you a 45-minute feedback on that. So that's on offer. Just drop me an email at lilia@healscotland.com, and then we can get you sorted. Okie dokie. Have a brilliant weekend, and I'll chat to you soon.